So thank you for joining us. Today I'll be talking about career preparation, particularly over the winter break. My name is Andrea Zavala, and I'm the lead peer consultant in the Office of Career Services, and I'm a senior engineering student. I will be sharing my email at the end of the presentation if you have any follow-up questions. So most of the content that we'll be covering today is basically to answer this question of what career-oriented activities that you could be doing over the break. And I would like to emphasize that I think it's important that you prioritize winding down from the semester and taking time for yourself. But with such a long break, if you also want to start thinking about ways that you could be working on career-related activities, this will be a good toolkit for you. So the motivation for this is to help set you up for success throughout the school year. Our career fair will be held on January 29th, which is the first Friday of the spring semester. So as classes start, things might be a bit stressful or distracting. So thinking about being prepared for that ahead of time will help save you some worry later on. Also, we have a longer break than usual this year. So you might take the first half to kind of relax and then start thinking, all right, what could I be doing? And so these will provide you some activities throughout that extended period. So the four things that I'll be discussing today include reflecting on your goals, accessing resources, updating your professional materials, and networking. And of course, the things that you could be working on are not limited to these, but I think they're a good place to start. And so my first recommendation is to take time to reflect on your goals. And it's important to begin this thinking long-term. So whether you want to consider entering industry when you graduate, or whether you hope to go to graduate school post-Harvey-Mudd, these are all good questions and can help guide you in thinking about what opportunities would be most valuable in setting you up for that long-term goal, whether it's an internship position or a research position, and maybe what industries you're most interested in. Also thinking about what skill sets that you've been developing in your coursework that you hope to expand on or that particularly excite you. So after reflecting on your goals, I really advise you to take advantage of the resources at your disposal. And with the internet, resources are pretty much limitless. So I'll be particularly talking about resources that you can access through Handshake. So this is a screenshot of Handshake homepage on my account. So when you log in as a student and you're presented with these options, you can access the Career Center page for Harvey-Mudd OCS on the right-hand tab, which I have circled in pink. And when you access this page, you'll be presented with a few options. I'll be focusing on the first three, the first of which is appointments. And here is where you can meet with the different career counselors or peer consultants to talk about pretty much anything career related. You can talk about essays, interviews, job searching, resume building, etc. So I think the staff in the Career Services office are wonderful. And if you're kind of stumped and you don't really know where to get started, talking it out with someone can be really helpful. So that's a great resource to take advantage of, and you can access that through Handshake. Additionally, we have our resources page or resources pages, which I'll talk about a little bit in a second, but it includes content that we've developed in the OCS and also external content that we think can be valuable for our students. And then you can view the Experiences tab. And in the Experiences tab, you can document your internship and co-op experiences, how the interviews went, about your satisfaction with the mentorship available. and other information like that. And this is good for yourself to keep track of, but also to share with other students. And so you can access people's reviews that will potentially help you make more informed decisions about which companies you hope to pursue or which opportunities that you're interested in. And as for the resources page, here's one screenshot of the many resources available. So as you can see, we have the guide for action verbs, headers, and other information. Some of these handouts were those that were previously available in the office on campus, and now they're here electronically. And then there's information about networking, about navigating online platforms. And one in particular that's worth noting is the link for the Harvey-Mudd undergraduate research opportunities page. So the research department or the research organizers at Harvey-Mudd have gotten together and released this new platform to help connect students with the research opportunities at Harvey-Mudd. So other notable resources that you can find here include platforms that will connect you with jobs in specific industries, such as biology or environmental sustainability. So those can be really useful if you have an idea of where you're focusing. And then resources for navigating negotiations. And yeah, I highly recommend going through this in your downtime, just seeing what's out there, and when it's relevant or useful, being able to know that it's there and access it is a great way to take advantage of these resources. So the next activity that I recommend doing over the break is updating your professional materials. And these will include resumes and virtual profiles. So as for your resume, you just finished a semester and you probably just did a few final projects, new coursework that you're engaged in. So now is a great time to spend documenting that experience, noting different responsibilities that you had on different teams. And it's really good to do this while it's fresh in your mind, but it's also a good time to think about prior projects that you maybe haven't taken the time to write about or include on your resume. So another tip that I have here is sometimes you realize like, oh no, I did this project a year ago and I forgot to write about it. If you still have your class syllabi, you can go through this and see the kind of terminology that your professors use to talk about your tasking or the requirements of the project, which can be helpful to kind of bring it back and to remind you what you were focused on. So another tip that I have here is actually to think about having two types of resumes. So I like to think of the first type as a runoff resume, and then the second type as an official resume. And the reason that I do this is because we advise students to limit your resume to one page for whenever you're submitting for applications. Recruiters will oftentimes not read more than that. So that's industry standard. And it can be hard to keep it to that limit. You don't want to make it font 8 and get rid of your margins. So you have to think strategically about what you will include in each case. So the first type of resume, for this reason, a runoff resume, I don't want you to worry about length. Just keep all of your projects, all of your coursework. Think about that volunteer opportunity that you were a part of. Think about that team that you led. Even if it feels irrelevant, document it and keep it in this kind of mini database for yourself. And maybe down the line, it will become relevant and you can pull that from this runoff resume to your tailored resume. And this official tailored resume should be different depending on what you're applying to. If you're an undergraduate or underclassman engineering major and you're not sure what discipline you're most interested in and you're applying to different types, your resume should look different for those different applications. So you can pull a project that was related to one for that official resume and then tailor it based on the different opportunities. You can even go as far as including the vocabulary from different job postings. So if you see repeatedly that certain skills are discussed in a specific way on job postings that you're interested in, use that vocabulary so that you can communicate your skill set and experience as it pertains to what they're looking for in a candidate. And then the next thing that I recommend is to update your online profiles. For Handshake, LinkedIn, MuddCompass, I'm sure there are more. These are the ones that I'll focus on, and I'll talk a little bit about each. So for Handshake, this is essentially a networking platform specifically for college students to connect with recruiters. And as you saw earlier, there are a lot of the career services office resources on Handshake as well. And Handshake is great because any listings that are posted there were already provided by recruiters that have connected with Harvey Mudd. So they already have the interest in the school. They already know the name. You'll have that advantage there rather than on LinkedIn where everyone has access. So on LinkedIn, this is a great place for you to connect with people within and beyond the Harvey Mudd community. And I'll talk about networking later on, but LinkedIn is a great site for that. And then we had MuddCompass, which was launched fairly recently. MuddCompass is a platform specifically for the Harvey Mudd College community, and its strengths are mostly for job referrals, which will come up in the next few slides. But over the break is a great time to think about, okay, what relevant coursework can I add here? Or have you discovered a new interest or did a new project that you can talk about on any of your profiles? So the last activity that we'll be discussing is networking. And I think it's important to network with professors, alumni, recruiters, other students, and it can make a big difference in the end. Sometimes networking may feel inconsequential or like it takes more energy than you're seeing of benefits, but it's all about the long term. So 35% of new hires have applied online and found someone within the company to talk them up. So now I'm a senior and a lot of my peers are applying for jobs. So I've seen some of my friends who met someone representing a company at a career fair 2 or 3 years ago, and now they're, reestablishing contact, and that person within the organization is guiding them through the application process and referring them internally, which can make a big difference, as you can see. And then another thing to note about why it's important to network is that only about 10% of job seekers who apply through online postings will secure that position, which is a pretty low likelihood, especially when you get to websites like Indeed or LinkedIn. Those are accessible to everyone. And so thousands of applicants will do the 3-click application, and your resume will be sent through an algorithm where thousands of others are as well. That's why it's important to make connections, which will be the #1 way to help you find a job or internship. So there are many different platforms that you can use for networking. Here's a screenshot of LinkedIn. This is the Harvey Mudd College page, and you can see the alumni tab. Here you can have access to the more than probably 7,000 alumni on LinkedIn. You can see where they live, where they work, what they majored in, and what year they graduated. You can search for all of these keywords, and if their profile is public, you can see what opportunities they did throughout their career path that maybe helped them get to where they are. You can even go as far as connecting with them and maybe asking for an informational interview to maybe, help create that relationship that could lead to a referral down the road, or just to help you learn about a company that you might be interested in. And then here we have a screenshot of MuddCompass. So as I mentioned earlier, networking is great because it can result in job referrals. And so most companies have internal referral systems. So they'll be able to, the employees of an organization will be able to indicate that they're recommending a certain individual that they know is applying. And this can help boost the likelihood that their resume will catch the eye of a recruiter. And, with the limited access to in-person networking or being able to meet people on campus at networking events, MuddCompass is a great way to establish those relationships and to see, where referrals may be available. So I highly recommend creating your MuddCompass account, keeping it updated, connecting with alumni, and looking through the different opportunities available there. And if you have any questions about MuddCompass, be sure to reach out to any of the career services people and we can help you navigate it and learn. I know it may feel new, but there should also be information in different emails regarding MuddCompass. So that's all of the content that I'll be discussing today, but my email is listed on the screen. If you have any questions, feel free to stay on and ask me or send me an email. And again, I want to emphasize the break is yours. Spend it however you need to, but here's a toolkit in case, now is a better time without the distraction of school for you to be worried or occupied with stuff like this. So thank you for joining me, and I'll stay on for any questions.
Okay, sweet. My microphone is working. Sorry, my camera isn't. But so I'm a frosh and I really want to do research this summer, but I don't know whether to do research like at Mudd or at one of the local universities near me because we probably won't be in person anyway. But the deadline, like the times that I have to turn things in are at, I think for some of the places near me in like January, February, but Mudd is later.
Mm-hmm.
So this is more like, I guess, a question to you as a senior. Is it absolutely terrible to like ask your profs for letters of recommendation and then not do those, opportunities if I get, Mudd research?
So are you asking, so would these be the same professors, or what's your apprehension about reaching out to them for recommendations?
It's just a lot of letters of rec. I mean, I think it's like 2 for each one. And so I just feel bad, asking the same profs like every time.
Right. Yeah, generally, I think they can repurpose letters pretty easily. And I wouldn't hesitate asking them if it's, required for an application. And if they do not have the time or capacity to handle that, hopefully they'll be forthright about that. And you can always reach out to a different professor. But I wouldn't be shy about it. And they're a lot more used to it than you might expect. I've talked to some professors about how many requests they get, and it's mostly a matter of timing. So just give them at least 3 weeks and then maybe a 1-week reminder or so. Don't be asking last minute, and I think it would be appropriate.
Okay, that really helps. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Andrea, what is your um journey been like? I mean, like, um, even in terms of you're a senior now, and like what kinds of internships have led you to where you are and what you might be doing after graduating?
That's a great question. So after my freshman year, I was, trying to find an internship, not having very much luck. And I was applying online to positions that I didn't know anyone at the company, and I was an underclassman. And I ended up getting connected with an opportunity through an organization local to Houston, which is my hometown. And I got my internship while I was at summer math, which is a 3-week math right after school ends. So I didn't get an internship until June, and it started like in June. So my backup plan then was to probably work at a tutoring center, which I did in high school, or work whatever job I could find, because skills that you learn in any position will end up becoming relevant when you think about communication and accountability and reliability. And so I wasn't expecting that to work out, but it ended up working out in my favor. Um, and then the following year, I went to the career fair at the Women Engineers Conference, and I went and talked to a company and got in line, scheduled an interview, interviewed, and was handed an internship offer. So that was also extremely fortunate on as far as timing and like being at the right place at the right time, and talking to the right people and just having the right attitude about it. So that set me up for sophomore summer, and then I returned with the same company after my junior year. And then I am now actually still working for the same company, which I will be working for after I graduate. So my path was not as thank you, Sarah. My path was more succinct than most in that I did a lot of career exploration when I was in high school. So I started thinking about, industry and position and the kinds of environments that I wanted to work in like pretty early. So it's not super common, and everybody's looks different, but I think I put myself out there a lot and never heard back, a lot more than people might be able to tell. If I went through my email and searched for like, sorry, we cannot offer you this position, I would see probably 100 emails. And I think it's a matter of keeping up with it. And with it, I mean, keeping up with what your goals are and thinking about like how you're presenting yourself. And, the bottom line is, what do you want recruiters to learn about you? And in order to do that, you need to know yourself, right? You need to know, like, what do I know about myself that I can talk to other people about? So it takes a high level of reflection and a lot of research into what's out there. But yeah, did that answer your question? I may have gone too in depth.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay. Ariana, have you checked out the research opportunities platform or website?
The one where they had a lot of physics posted, yes, I think I did.
Okay.
It's running? Yes.
Okay. Have you had any trouble figuring out deadlines or where to apply?
No, they all looked really interesting. I cannot do any spring ones because I have 18 and a half credits already.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Alrighty, if there's nothing else, I will let you all go, but feel free to reach out to me. Ariana, if you need any help with how to ask professors or what would be appropriate to say, just, let me or anyone in the office know. And I hope all of you have a great break. And Sarah, will the presentation be shared?
Yes, we will upload it onto our playlist on YouTube.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'll drop the bit.ly in the chat so you have access to the playlist directly. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great break. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.